Presented by Navy Federal Credit Union.
Coming up on NBA Today, we have the latest on Jimmy Butler's ACL injury and what the Warriors' options are with the trade line just over 2 weeks away. And what the heck is going on with the New York Knicks? We have new details on what's going on behind the scenes, so stay tuned for that special report. Plus, the All-Star starters, they were revealed. So our panel's biggest takeaways on first-time starters, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama, and Maxey. And, of course, we'll discuss who got snubbed. NBA Today starts right now. We begin our show with some breaking, unfortunate news coming out of the Bay Area as Golden State Warriors star Jimmy Butler tore his ACL on his right knee, and his season is over. We're not going to replay this too many times here. It happened last night in the third quarter against his former team, the Miami Heat, but now there are lots of questions about what the Warriors' outlook looks like, and no one better to answer them than our Shams Charania. So, Shams, what more can you tell us about Butler's injury here?
Malika, Jimmy Butler will undergo surgery, season-ending surgery on that torn ACL once the swelling goes down in his knee. But he turns 37 this offseason, and he faces a year-long worth of recovery potential. And the Warriors are already bracing for the possibility and the potential likelihood that he's going to miss the start of next season. But in the short term, this is a shattering blow to the Warriors' hopes of contending around Stephen Curry. And this comes right as the Warriors have been playing their best ball of the season. 4 wins in a row. They won 12 of the last 16 games. And Jimmy Butler, since he got there in February, they've had almost a 700 win percentage. In a Warrior uniform with Jimmy Butler, he's been a perfect fit next to Stephen Curry, and now he's out for the rest of the season. He's their second best player, just a devastating blow to the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, that smile that Jimmy had when he was getting helped off the court, I'd hoped given us a little bit of hope for this diagnosis, but so unfortunate here, Shams. Where do the Warriors, now we're 16 days away from the trade deadline, things are shifting. Where do the Warriors stand in terms of that outlook? Look, I just got off with a source that said the Warriors are still in trade conversations around the league to see, is there a pathway to better this team? And a lot of that has centered around Jonathan Kuminga. He requested a trade, demanded a trade out of the Warriors last week, the first day he was eligible to be traded. But now with Jimmy Butler sidelined out of nowhere with this ACL tear, will the Warriors go back on this roller coaster ride with Jonathan Kuminga and the saga that's happened, and Steve Kerr potentially giving another effort to trying to implement Jonathan Kuminga as part of his rotation? Or do the Warriors look at trying to find immediate help on the trade market? Is there a player? We know Sacramento and Dallas are two teams that have interest in Jonathan Kuminga right now. There's other teams as well. But you look at Sacramento. Is there a player like a Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan that you can bring in that could help in the immediate future without a Jimmy Butler? But how that relationship goes between Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga, and what the Warriors do with Jonathan Kuminga the next 2 weeks before the trade deadline, that is the front and center focus in Golden State. Yeah, it felt like the trade deadline went from being very straightforward to what Golden State was looking to do to now it being a little bit murkier. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. We're going to get more into the trade deadline later with Bobby Marks. But the Warriors, their theme really in Steph Curry's career has been the on-off minutes for Curry, right? But with Jimmy Butler, he helped to bridge that gap. The Warriors outscored opponents by 185 points with Jimmy Butler on the court and had been outscored by 20 in the minutes without him. So here with our Mark Spears, Shanae Gumake, Danny Green to break this down. This is just a bummer. Can we all agree on that?
Man.
Yes. Start with this. Watching that was such a bummer here, Danny. I know you've gone through these injuries before. What did you think when you were watching?
I mean, we've all had our fair share of injuries here, but nobody wants to go through rehab, especially at the age of 36. And I know he reminded the media that he's not old. But at this age, it's like, damn, what happens next? For me, our contract situations were very different. First and foremost, prayers up to Jimmy, speedy recovery. And I know Shams said that we might not see him the start of next season, but I really think Jimmy could be back by the start of next season. It's all how you attack the rehab. But in the beginning of the first couple months, you have to learn how to walk again. It's a very vulnerable situation. You need help to use the bathroom, need help to use the shower to shower yourself. So from the human side of it, it's regardless of how much money you make or where you are in life, it's not easy. And it's how you show up every day, how you approach and attack the rehab every day. So I fully expect him. Shout out to my PTs. They got me back in 8 months. I had a double ligament surgery. Luckily, his is a non-contact injury, which might help.
8 months?
Yeah, so I got back 8 months. Joe Ingles got back in 7 months. He had just the ACL, so he got back in the fastest. So Jimmy could get back in 7, 8 months.
How old were you?
I was 34 turning 35. I was 35 during that process. So there is hope that he can get back pretty quickly within 7 or 8 months with the ACL injury?
I took my sweet time with both of mine. I had right knee microfracture and left Achilles, and I was young. It was after my rookie season, and it was 2 years after that. And I felt like I still had a couple good years that I squeezed out. It's much harder when you're older.
Yeah.
But for two reasons, I think there's room to be optimistic, as you mentioned. One, because science is advancing, it's evolving. The technology to recover and rehab is getting better and better each year, which is why you see, I think Dame posted yesterday on his social media, him doing like between the legs and shooting. Like, these guys want to show, Jason Tatum, these guys want to show that, hey, we can get back sooner because we have the support and we are committed to doing this process at the highest level. Now, Jimmy's older, respectfully, but one thing we know about Jimmy Butler is if it's a mental challenge, which is the hardest when you go into rehab, he is built for these types of situations. But it is hard realizing that this is a guy, when you want to come back from, injury, it takes a while. It took me a year to feel like myself.
Really?
Right?
Yeah,
but he's
the second year usually.
It took a year. And if you think about Jimmy's style, he's physical. He puts the team on his back. He plays hard. Like, he pushes through. It's hard to mentally go through that as you're coming back, but he's the guy built for it.
Well, I tore my right ACL in college, but the NBA wasn't looking at me, so it was kind of a moot point.
They might have. They might have been.
No, I'm keeping it real.
Okay.
No.
We appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. The Warriors woke up saddened today. I mean, like, look, Melton was playing well, Al's playing well, and Jimmy's rolling, and then this happened. So right now they're taking their time. They're not in a rush to do anything, but you still got Steph Curry, and they still want to make the best of Steph Curry's time. And they got 2 weeks to try to do something. So, hey, you've heard the Sacramento things. Now, does it mean DeRozan, who makes around the same kind of money? You mentioned Dallas has been interested. Does Michael Porter Jr. get back in? Wiggins was there last night. They know Wiggins. He got a standing ovation. Could he fit in? He knows the offense. The thing is, like with J.K., I just think with Steve Kerr, Kuminga, like, it's like they could go on a cruise together. It ain't going to fix. Like, I do think they got to change that, but right now the Warriors are going to take their time and try to make the best decision and see what the best thing is available right before the trade deadline.
Take their time within 2 weeks. You're throwing out names, you're throwing out numbers. That means we need to bring in our Bobby Marks. Guys start looking like at least like good trying to make sure it all makes sense here. Bobby, what options do the Warriors actually have here to improve this roster? Because it seemed very straightforward. Their goal was to move on from Jonathan Kuminga. Now their priorities, they may have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's three options here, Malik. I think the first one is, can you try to integrate Jonathan Kuminga back into your rotation? Here's a player that has 9 straight DNPs, including last night in the 20-point win against Miami. I think it is interesting to note in that Charlotte game on January 17th, the game Jimmy Butler did not play. Steve Kerr elected to start. Second-round pick Will Richard in his place, and Kuminga got a DNP in that. The second is, certainly we're going to see Kuminga's name in the next couple weeks, continue exploring that trade market. Mark mentioned DeMar DeRozan. He said his number was close. Well, when you're dealing with the second apron, you better be right on the same number as Jonathan Kuminga. DeRozan makes about $2 million more. So that type of deal, they would have to actually include salary for Golden State. And then the third one is nothing, right? Is Kuminga, does he remain out of the rotation? Is there no trade that materialized? I think that's probably the more unlikely scenario here. But for the short term right now, Malika, the disabled player exception has expired. They cannot apply for that. That was on January 15th. So you're going to explore trades in the next 2 weeks. I think it's going to be interesting if Jonathan Kuminga, as we said, if that option number one is that he is back in this rotation.
Right, because Jimmy Butler is under contract for next season. There's no option, there's no restricted this, that. He is under contract here, and the Warriors are trying to do what they've always done, which is continue to maximize and stretch out their time that they have here with Steph Curry. Of those three options, Mark, is there one that you're hearing maybe most likely from Golden State from your sources?
I see Kuminga getting moved now. Okay. We don't see Butler getting traded, right? That would seem. One GM told me, he said it's doubtful, too much money, and but I think exploring the Kuminga thing now and maybe him playing for a couple weeks helps.
Sure.
But I think he's their only option and something they have to do. They have to make a change with him regardless, and hopefully the thing with the Warriors is I've been told that they haven't wanted to add salary. So making one of those moves is going to add somebody that's not have an expiring contract.
Right, but also making sure that now what they're looking to get back from Kuminga could be very different than what they were looking to offload just a couple of weeks ago. Danny, give me some hope here to end this. All of my family is in the Bay Area. They need some hope to end this.
I think there is hope. I think there is hope, and I think it'd be hard to move Kuminga within the 2 weeks. I think they got to find a way to try to be cordial in this marriage. We've seen marriages end and be cordial until the kids leave the house. They got to figure out a way. This is the time for Jonathan Kuminga to up his value, his market, to show that he's a professional, play, hoop, and get some other teams interested in him and show that he can be a steal. Like his contract could be shown as I think he's a max type of player.
Let him know.
But if he continues, if he plays like we know he can show that his contract's a steal, and then teams will want to get him.
Do you know how difficult it is?
I'm sure it's not
to be someone. I know people haven't seen the untapped potential in maybe the greatest ways, but Jonathan Kuminga, we all know this system probably was not a perfect fit for him. He's a freestyler where Kerr is very more on a string, right? Bobby said it, 9 DMPs to come back and say, we need you now. The same thing that happened last year in the postseason,
and
we need you now after getting DMPs.
Right.
Mental maturity.
That is why you don't want these situations, no matter how good or bad, to deteriorate to this level, because now you never know when your number is called. I believe if Jonathan Kuminga plays, he's going to play hard. He's going to do his job. But still, it's a problem that you kind of already created internally.
He still wants out.
Bobby, thank you. We're going to have more from Anthony Slate. Host a weekend roundup here of the holiday. We're going to start with the leading Oklahoma City Thunder, rolling past the Cavs, even without J-Dub behind 30 points from SGA. How are they getting it done shorthanded, Mark?
Man, everybody knows their role. They're great at what they do, but I do wonder if they're getting bored with the process with a 5-game lead and cruising. Let's see.
Let's see. You can't get bored with the process on the road to greatness and to repeating. Tyrese Maxey, he celebrated his first All-Star starter nod, 29 points, 8 steals. VJ Edgecombe, monster dunk. But then after, he says he's not interested in doing the dunk contest, Dan.
Come on, young fella. I'm disappointed, man. This is New York's finest. Lou High, you guys are supposed to be leading by example. This is what we need. We need young guys in the dunk contest. We don't need G League guys. No, slight to them. But we need some more NBA guys in there. And VJ is supposed to be the guy to, kind of, I wouldn't say carry the torch, but start the trend of being competitive in that nature.
All right, no shade to Mac McClung there. Coast to coast and across the pond. John Morant, we didn't know if we'd see him in London, but we did. He gave the Grizzlies a spark in his first game back from injury. Memphis controlled start to finish. Hey, Shanae, is the relationship, though, beyond repair?
Look, it's that song, it's getting sticky. It's sticky, but actually not in a bad way. That's what it's about. Because the best way through it is by jobbing his best self. 24, but also having 13 assists, making himself valuable for all teams.
Victor Cruz dance right there.
We're going to need a camera on Danny because he was doing that dance. And back in the States, Anthony Edwards, he dropped 55. He lit up the Spurs in the fourth quarter with 26 of them things, but it wasn't quite enough to get the win over Victor Wembanyama and company or get the All-Star starting spot. Any issues with that, Mr. Green?
I have an issue with it for sure. He definitely deserved a starting spot. I know all those guys are very much deserving. Steph Curry, although Golden State is losing, he has put up the numbers, but his kids made a case for it. We might see a couple more 55 balls in the near future for Anthony Edwards because he is balling.
You know the rule, though. If you're putting someone in, who are you taking out?
You said it. You said it right there.
Steph might be
all right,
my guy.
Yesterday, let's go to Atlanta. The Bucks working to end a 3-game skid. Good to see Martin Luther King III there. All right, we're going to pick this action up in the fourth quarter, Shanae.
Jalen Johnson, man. Love that man. One of those rising stars from this year.
28 points, 16 rebounds in this one. Portis.
Crazy eyes.
He's been shooting the heck out of the 3-ball this year. He had 19 points, the Bucks up 2, and then less than 45 seconds to go. Johnson turns it over here. You gotta look out when Giannis is getting out in transition, Shanae.
You love this right here with the left, but the hair on the chinny chin chin. Got that roll.
Giannis had 21 points, 17 rebounds. The Bucks up 4. CJ McCollum, he had a chance to tie this one up, but his shot attempt was off. The Bucks get the win, 112 to 110. One of the steady forces for the Bucks ever since joining the team in 2020, but this year he's really taken his game to new heights. You can see it right here. He leads the NBA in three-point percentage, and he's on pace to make a career high in any of his 11 seasons. And the sharpshooter, the mayor of Milwaukee, Bobby Portis, joins us now. Bobby, thanks so much for taking the time.
Appreciate y'all having me on. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, and it is so good to see you, fresh glasses and all. And we just showed, I mean, clearly you are seeing the rim well this year. You're leading the league in three-point percentage. Do you anticipate maybe showcasing those skills at All-Star Weekend here in Los Angeles?
Absolutely. I just think this season I've been shooting a lot better along the three. But, you know, if you look at my 6 seasons in Milwaukee, man, I've been shooting the 3-ball pretty well since I got here. Shooting above probably 40% for my career as a Buck. So just shooting the closeouts now when the guys are closing out, just, you know, looking at how the ball is passed to me, find the seams of the ball real fast and just get up under it, hold the follow through. So it's been working, just shooting the closeouts, like I said, and just, you know, keeping that confidence high.
Right now, you guys are sitting on the outside looking in at the play-in tournament. So fill in the blank for me here. This is something we do with our analysts a lot on NBA Today. Okay? The Milwaukee Bucks, they are going to be in the postseason. Y'all will be in the postseason if blank.
The Milwaukee Bucks have been postseason if we buy in and compete together. I think one of our Achilles heels this season has been when we play against, you know, teams that probably aren't that good. We kind of play down to the level of the competition, and then we kind of lose those games. You know, in certain type of games, you gotta bring that certain type of fire and pop. And in certain games, I don't feel like we do. It's all about competing. You know, competitive spirit. You gotta have that on a nightly basis.
I appreciate that reflection. You certainly know what it takes to win. I think back often to when we were doing the trophy ceremony in 2021. We didn't plan an interview for you, Bobby, but the fans, they came together and they said,
the masses,
exactly,
man.
They demanded to hear from you. You are the heart, you are the soul of this team in a lot of ways, which is why I'm so curious to hear your answer to this, right, Bobby? You're the guy who brings the group together, right? You're the guy who brings the team together. And as the trade deadline is approaching, there's so much conversation about Giannis. And I'll cop to it, on our show included, right? So how does that, I know you tune it out as much as possible, but when that trickles down, how does it affect this group and that togetherness that you're trying to have?
I mean, I think it's part of the business. I mean, just not Giannis. I hear my name dang near every day as well, right? So, you know, it's just, you know, part of the business, understanding where we're at in the season. Obviously, when you look at it as a business-wise, you kind of get it, right? You know, team probably not as playing as well as we wanted to be at this part of the season, but got 41 games, 40 games to turn it around. So, it can go either way. It just depends on, you know, the next week or two, how the season plays out, how the games go. But like I said, man, it can go a lot of different ways.
What has Giannis told you personally about how he hopes this resolves itself?
I just think just on a daily basis, man, he's taking it a day at a time. You know, obviously he's been here for 13 years. So when you've been somewhere for so long, obviously it means so much to you. So, you know, I just think he's taking it a day at a time, still trying to get wins, still trying to build camaraderie with the group we're with. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens. But at the same time, man, just trying to build camaraderie, build good habits on a daily basis. You know, when you have a contract, you honor your contract, you go out there and fight every night.
Bobby Portis, or as they like to call you in Milwaukee, Bobby POTUS, because you are the president around those streets.
Right.
Thank you so much for the time on NBA Today.
Appreciate y'all, man. 6th man of the year, man.
Sixth man of the year. That's our campaign too. You know, wait. Before we let you go, is that the goal this year?
That's been the goal every year.
Hey.
I know I came in 3rd place a couple times. So, you know, this year, you know, if we can turn the season around, I hope guys can just, you know, look at what I've been doing to help my team on a nightly basis, man.
You heard it here first. All-Star, 6th man of the year, Bobby Portis. Thank you so much for joining us and for campaigning. See, we told you.
NBA Today, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union.
They say the neon lights looking a little too bright on Broadway. All right, this is what happened in Cooper Flag's debut, though, at Madison Square Garden. We could spin it that way. Cooper Flag, look out, coast to coast. Finishing that one with authority here, Shanae.
I just like the passion and the force he plays with in transition, but also in the half court.
Max Christie, we're going to ignore the score.
We're not ignoring him.
Fly by reload.
Heat check.
Fans there went out
30?
26 points. Spike Lee in a little bit of disbelief when the Knicks were trailing 28 at the half. And then Klay Thompson looking like his old self, getting the ball at the top of the key, knocking down the three. Mike Brown sends his starters to the bench, and the Garden lets him hear it.
You gotta love that organist right there.
I'm not sure we needed subtitles to hear that. Here's Karl Anthony Towns after the game.
You come to an MLK Day here at the Garden, and tickets are twice to 3 times the price, and to come here and, you know, spend your hard-earned money that you've saved up to bring your family to this game, and for us to come here and obviously not only win, which is disappointing, but not really have a chance, you know, I'd be disappointed too.
I mean, I'd be booing us too. Straight up.
At halftime, you know, we usually do the clips and talk about technical X's and O's and all that, you know, crap that coaches do and teams do. There was nothing to be said at halftime except for lock in and do your, excuse me on that, do your job.
So in my experience, if that is what is being said publicly, then behind the scenes, it is only dialed up that much more. Our senior writer, Ramona Shelburne, is here with us to give us that behind-the-curtain look. What happened with the New York Knicks after this game?
Yeah, you heard Jalen Brunson say that I'd be booing us too. Well, after the game, Jalen Brunson called a players-only meeting for all the guys in that locker room and said, guys, we got to stop looking to the coaching staff for answers. We got to stop looking elsewhere. The answers to what is wrong with us right now are right in this locker room. We got to look in the mirror. And it was, from what it was a longer meeting. A lot of people had something to say about what was going wrong. But this is a team that came in thinking they had a chance of, it's finals or bust, right? They have those kind of expectations, and to fall to 25 and 18 right now, you could see them in the play-in if they keep going this way. That offense, which was humming, bottom 5 in January.
Right. So we go from humming to a players-only meeting. Danny, how do you view this?
I mean, I can't get that soundbite that Cat had early in the year of "I don't know my role," and that to me is AKA a superstar is not involved as much as he would like to be. So Cat to me doesn't seem happy. He doesn't, even though he played well, he had 22 and 18. Granted, they were getting blown up by 30. He's had some decent numbers, but as you said, career lows in touches per game, career lows in post-ups per game. He doesn't feel like he's as involved as he would like to be under the Mike Brown era. So that's where it kind of starts. And I know they had some greats. They had Josh Hart out some. They had Jalen Brunson out. So, you know, I get that. And after the Cup game, teams have known to take a dive. But I just don't like their approach, their mental, you know, how they come in. They look like they're acting like they're the best team is, but they're not playing like it. So they got to show some sense of urgency right now. And it starts with this man right here. He's got to be more aggressive. He got to change his mannerisms, whatever. Your body language has to be very different how you come into this game, even though he played well the other night. But those two guys are the leaders, and that team-only meeting, or players-only meeting, was very much necessary.
We all knew when they made this quote-unquote controversial coaching change that there better be a huge identity shift, or we'd see a market change, right, for us to realize, okay, this is why they made that choice. But right now, it doesn't seem like we see so much of that identity. Now, we know the idea was to hopefully look at the efficiencies here. The idea was to remove the ball from Jalen Brunson a little bit more, spread the rock. But then how do you have Karl-Anthony Towns having career lows in post touches, where this is a guy who leads the NBA typically the last few years, not only in three-point percentage, which means he drives to the basket and gets more dunks there. That's his effective area. So the style that I haven't seen a style that has been so unique, so different, so bought in by the players, and I do think that's part coach and that is also part player. But lastly, I'll say this: how bad are things right now? They are bottom 5 in offense and bottom 5 in defense since the start of the year. Like that, and Ramona literally just said the expectation is finals.
And there's, when things are going bad, little things that, well, there's not a little thing, but people know Kat and Draymond Green don't get along, right? We saw the podcast back and forth. We've seen that every single time they play. Mike Brown knows that, and yet after the game, when Draymond tripped Kat, you know, and there was a foul called there, right? Okay. After the game, Mike was seen afterwards and hugging Draymond Green. And now listen, they won 3 titles together.
And to me, that seems like not a big deal. But
I'll tell you this. From what I understand, that didn't land well. This hug, all that did not land well with a lot of folks there in New York. So I think in that locker room or even in the organization, that while you can understand why he might have something bond with Draymond Green, I don't think that landed well, especially in the middle of a losing streak for a guy who has not felt as much a part of the offense.
You know what? I'm curious about Jalen, because we've exalted him as one of the stars of the league, right? And I like the fact that he had this meeting after the game. But it's not a young team. These are vets. Like, come on now. Like, how do you go from winning the NBA Cup to this? You know, you could blame the coach.
What was that face, Janae?
Well, this is the time to have that meeting. I'll just say this. But the answer is right. It's in the locker room. The players are largely the same. It's just more about competing. We know that Jalen and at times Karl-Anthony Towns defensively can be exploited, right? Need more rebounding or need more, point of attack wins. And so it's going to take a different level of commitment or coaching to be able to hide and mask those weaknesses.
Or better front office moves.
I mean, are you basically saying they need everything to be better? And
you signed 2 guys. Neither one of them had a chance to make an imprint.
Last year, this team was on a string defensively,
picks.
right?
Okay.
They were connected. They were on a string. When you lose that connection, it doesn't help when you have incidents like that situation with Draymond Green last a couple games.
Okay, really quick here, Ramona. I just want to make sure that we're hearing this the way that it should be heard. The Knicks are losing. They have been struggling.
Yep.
You have a players-only meeting. You have a star that sounds like there's little things that are bothering him, and that's completely fine and that's completely fair. But do we hear this as, okay, so now the New York Knicks are looking to make a change ahead of the deadline? Or do we hear this as, and now the New York Knicks are buckling down with this group? How should we be taking all of these little things that are happening?
What I have heard is they've got to make this work.
Okay.
So whatever that means, you know, obviously the door is open for trying to make that
Figure
work.
it out.
But you got to make it work one way or another.
All right.
You can't come into the season thinking finals.
It has worked.
And have this kind of a run here.
There you go.
need a
All right.
reset.
So I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page there. Ramona, thank you for that insight. We thought the Knicks, right, would be one of the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference at this point in the season. But no, that distinction belongs to the Pistons and the Celtics. Those 2 teams in action last night in Detroit. By the way, congratulations to Jaylen Brown, Kate Cunningham, both all-star starters for the first time in their careers here. We're going to get this started tied up in the 4th quarter, Sinead.
Look, I love this. Kate is one of my favorite players starting this year because of how he controls the game. He's never rushed. He makes the right reads. He's passing at a top clip.
Tobias Harris.
And he's making his team better while scoring. That's a very rare combination.
Harris finished this one with 25 points. But the next possession here, Mr. Spears, Celtics down by 5. Jaylen Brown, he has been the backbone of this team all
Put some respect on his name. This dude's a star.
He
doesn't sell a lot of jerseys. He's one of the best players in the league.
He should.
Best 2-way player in the league right now, right?
Give him some respect.
Next trip down here, the Celtics have a chance.
Okay.
You want to have it.
Oh, I thought
Good
that was
defense,
it when he pulled
Tobias.
up
Good
on that.
defense, boy.
Didn't quite get it to go. The Pistons get the win 104-103. So we're 20 days into the new year.
Oh, God.
Look at these pictures.
But social media, we're throwing it back to 2016, baby.
Wow.
No Connecticut sun.
Look at the sun.
Wow.
Danny, fresh
I
face.
like that hair, Malika.
Mark, you look the same.
I think I look the same. Where did you get this photo of me?
We shall never
You put in
tell.
some work since then.
We shall never tell.
Danny, why are you
I'm
fading
going to
into
leave
the
those
back?
eyebrows, Sinead, back in
Had a
2016.
mohawk back there.
Look, that was a heck of a year.
Of course, though, we had to cook up some top of the top, the best plays of 2016.
My
Let's
favorite
do that
year.
instead. It's brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Top rack attack, Aaron Gordon versus the Lakers. This is still in the Magic days.
Watch your head.
Hey.
Oh, my gosh.
San Jose.
Oh,
That's a
before the
full
locks.
windmill.
Before the locks.
2016, you're still talking about Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, so of course then
Oh, my gosh.
2 dunk contest winners. Oh,
all
it should
over
have been.
Alex Len.
They should have
winners in our hearts and
co-winners.
minds.
Yeah, winners
I
in our
forgot he played there.
Giannis going coast to coast
Look
with
at
a
skinny
little Euro.
Giannis.
Ah, Serge. Come on. Serge, get out the way, Serge.
Mohawk Giannis.
Africa on Africa.
Top point guard. This is a double bang.
This was
By
the craziest shot
4
to
down.
make.
I was
4th
there.
game winner.
I was at that game.
That was before they guard him.
This is right behind Kyrie's left-handed game winner shot. Like, this is one of the most disrespectful shots you can take.
And then the wiggle. Oh, Isaiah Thomas.
Hey,
Oh, yes. Jake Crowder
Gotta make it.
gets it to go.
look at that
Isaiah
pass.
was so much fun to
He
watch.
really was.
Oh, lightning in a bottle right there.
And then Kyrie putting the moves on TikTok.
Oh, my God. Kyrie, we
Don't
miss
do
you.
that to
We
the
miss
old
you,
guys.
Kyrie.
Come on,
He's
don't.
retired now. Let's not show him like that.
Not to the old guys, man.
Take like that.
All right,
He didn't
top
fall in
finale.
these.
My favorite final.
The same night the Warriors won their 73rd
The greatest game I've been to.
60.
Kobe dropped 60.
On 50 shots.
I remember I was toggling back and forth.
Takes a
I
lot
was
of
looking like
stamina.
Snoop Dogg there. Oh, look at his family.
Man.
Mamba out.
Core memory.
Oh, guys, look,
Rest in peace.
I know, me too.
goosebumps.
Thank you. This is my favorite final series.
All right, the 2016
You had
finals.
goosebumps here, too.
Yep.
Weren't you
Yeah.
there?
One-handed slam.
Believeland.
And then, oh, Sinead, can I do it? Can I
Yeah.
try the Mike
Yes, you
Green?
can.
Can I try it
Go
one more
ahead.
time? Game 7. Gets out on the break. No, blocked by James.
Blocked by James. Oh, God. Best
James.
final.
This is for you.
It really was.
And the shot.
Poor
The shot.
Warriors
The stop,
fans.
the block, and then the shot.
He knew once he got Steph on the mismatch.
Oh,
Jay
man.
the other day and I did not
Serious.
breathe for like 10 minutes in this game.
Nasty.
Oh, man. Well, that was fun. I like that throwback. Hey, still to come, though, the East and West starters for the 2026 All-Star Game. They have been revealed, but it's certain names that are missing that stood out the most. We'll tell you after this.
Gilgeous-Alexander named an all-star starter. Captain Clutch named an all-star starter.
Shout out to all the Day One JB fans.
Victor Wembanyama.
I'm just happy. This means that we're winning games.
It's been a good day. Thankful for my team, my coaches, everybody that voted for me.
One of my goals this play was to be a 10-time All-Star, and I'm very happy that I'm accomplished it.
The idea that I can, get back to that level year after year, I love it. Hopefully I have a couple more in the future, but this is pretty special.
I really love seeing all those first-time, especially, or all-star starters for the first-time videos behind the scenes. Can you believe it, though? We are just a couple of weeks away from the 2026 NBA All-Star Game. And the weekend, it's going to be held about 14 miles on the 110. It's from where we are standing right now. I know that only means something if you live in Los Angeles, but it'll be at Intuit Dome. And this year, we have 4 brand new All-Star starters in the East. Here are your East starters. Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Brunson, and another Jaylen Brown here. 10-time All-Star Giannis, 3-time All-Star Jalen Brunson. And then in the West, Victor Wembanyama, he was named a starter for the very first time, surprising to no one. 3 former MVPs join him. Nikola Jokic, his 8th All-Star, SGA his 4th, and Steph Curry, 12 All-Stars. Luka Doncic, he's also starting, and he's made 6 All-Star games. So you may notice a player not on the list, right? And that is LeBron James. It ends the longest starter streak in All-Star history, 21 straight seasons. And y'all, look at that. It's been a very long time since he wasn't a starter, right? Slow Jams was the #1 song. The national average price for gas was less than $2.
Please.
Help me with that, man. iPhone, it was 3 years away from being released the last time LeBron wasn't an All-Star. I had the BlackBerry Pearl. I was in there. The last time he wasn't one, it was back February 15th, 2004. And the game was played here in Los Angeles as well. These were the starters that night, right? 8 Hall of Famers.
Pretty good lineup.
The MVP of the game wasn't a starter. It was Shaq off the bench in that game. So that just puts into perspective just how long it has been. Mark, what was your biggest takeaway when you saw these starters being revealed by our friend Maria Taylor?
LeBron James not being a starter was somewhat surprising to me, but in terms of the only other person we could put on LeBron right now is Michael Jordan, right?
Okay.
Michael Jordan went through the same thing in 2003. The difference is Michael Jordan said he was retiring, so the expectation would be he would be voted in as a starter, but Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson had more votes than him. He was actually 5th in East voting. Ben Wallace had more votes than him. And when they got to the game in Atlanta, which to me might be the greatest All-Star game ever played, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan's rival, begged one of the East starters to give up their starting spot so Jordan could start.
Would you look at that?
And your fellow UNC Tar Heel, Vince Carter gave it up to the other Tar Heel, and Jordan ended up starting.
That's a heck of a comparison. That is a heck of a comparison.
Shout out to Isaiah Thomas, by the way. Everybody thinks he hates Mike. He actually tried to get somebody to give up their starting spot, which people don't realize the little things that he does. But yeah, I mean, if anybody's going to be godfather into this starting lineup, it should be LeBron James. I'm okay with Steph Curry, but I do think Ant might have got snubbed a little bit.
You would have swapped Ant for Steph?
Because I think Ant deserves it. But if somebody's going to be godfather in, I'm okay with LeBron or Steph being, godfathered in, because Steph is playing well, but the Warriors aren't winning. On the East, I think the East got it right. Donovan Mitchell would have been another guy I would like to see in the starting lineup. They're just not winning enough. They're not showing enough to me this year. He knows that. He takes accountability. But yeah, Ant-Man has been on a tear. He had 55 against the Spurs, one of the top teams in the West. I see him continuing that trend, leading Minnesota. They were back-to-back Western Conference Finals last year and the year before. This year, I think they're going to be still pretty good in the postseason, and it's because of him. So he definitely deserves a starting spot.
Yeah, the side-by-side is Ant averaging 29, Steph to 27, 4th in the West compared to 8th in the West. But if you look at the games, it's probably about like a 3-game, 4-game differential.
Yeah,
so it's close, but then this is not just one player, like players voting or media, it's everybody, so fans come in as well.
My hope is that you see how much, we watch the videos, right, of players reacting and clapping and getting excited and campaigning. And so where does the disconnect happen, right, between people being excited for and wanting the honor so very badly, and then by the time it gets to the floor, that doesn't happen. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want anyone to get playing to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's what it's hard for me to reconcile and square in my head, DG.
It's time for Luka to do the Vince Carter thing, right, and let LeBron take his starting spot maybe?
But it's so different now because you got these.
Yeah, you got the world versus the U.S. So
they won't be on the same team anyway.
3 different teams. So yeah, this
he'll be starting by default.
For sure.
Well, that is a good point, though. There were a lot of questions. I was seeing these online yesterday. Yes, the NBA still names starters. It was something the league and the union still wanted to do. But yes, eventually the player pool will still be divided into 3 teams of 8 players, 2 U.S. teams, 1 world team. And if there is not the prerequisite 16 and 8 players, there will be more than 24 All-Stars. More players will be added to the pool. But that's a conversation for Janae.
In the break, I'm going to calculate where the tally is on.
All right, speaking of LeBron, he and the Lakers in Denver tonight. Los Angeles coming off an impressive win against the Raptors. Denver is now 7-3 without Jokic this season. He continues that rehab from his knee injury. But how exactly have they found success without the 3-time MVP? Janae's on the case.
This is why they're having success, because when all is said and done, the Denver Nuggets should have another All-Star, Jamal Murray. He's having career highs across the board, not just scoring, also in assists. It's time for some court vision. Did you know that Jamal Murray is being double-teamed more than he has ever been before, especially this season, twice as much? So you have to do a lot of work to get him open. Look at the double staggered dribble handoff here. 2 really solid screens. Why? Because he's shooting 45% from 3 and 49% from 2. So he's done his job right here. He's got 2 defenders, which means someone is open, and it's right here near the paint. Zeke Naji has a mismatch with Peyton Pritchard right here, so he's going to throw the dime. He has options in the corner as well, but this leads to a dunk finish. He has a career high this year with 7.3 assists. He's taken the next step forward with this game.